Hey guys, so I'm going to start this episode out a little different than I have been in the past. First, I want to admit that I haven't slept much over this past week, as leading up to today's interview has honestly given me so much anxiety, as what I'm about to discuss with my guest today and with all of you is not my favorite subject to talk about. With all of this being said, I wanted to be able to first share my own personal story and experience when it comes to body shaming and my take of what happened to me back in 2008 all the way up to until now. And not only dealing with all of the backlash that came from that time, but also having to do it all in the public eye, which, you know, especially when I was still on the show, dancing in front of millions of people week after week, season after season, honestly, up until I retired last season. And having to do all of that with a smile on my face has been really challenging, or had been really challenging. My guest today is Louis Van Amstel. And as you guys know, I adore and will always be grateful to Louis, as he was the reason why I was even considered to be a part of the Dancing with the Stars family back in 2006. I decided to have Louis come on the pod today because he recently posted an Instagram video reacting to my interview I did with Lacey Schwimmer a couple of weeks ago, where we discussed body image and body shaming. First, and to be clear, when I mentioned both Louis and Max's names, it was only so that I could read Lacey what TV Guide had published back in 2008, where both Max and Louis were quoted. First off, I want to make this clear that my intention by bringing that up to Lacey was not to bash Louis or Max. My intention was to discuss body image and body shaming in the type of society that we live in today, especially when it comes to the workplace and specifically in the entertainment industry that, you know, we take part in, and even more so as professional dancers. Also, to be clear, Lacey and I never got a chance to discuss being body shamed at that time, and it has been close to a decade since the two of us actually caught up, as I prefaced at the top of that interview with her a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure that was made clear if you listen to the full interview, as Louis and Max were only a teeny tiny speck of what the subject matter and overall messaging was as a whole. To be honest, I got pretty emotional during and after my interview with Lacey, especially hearing how sad she was when that article on TV Guide came out, and how it honestly affected her both mentally and physically. Just a little warning that all of this has left me feeling super triggered and anxious for today's interview. However, because of my love for Louis and our friendship, more importantly, being someone who advocates for mental health and who knows the importance of having these types of open and honest conversations, I felt the need to do this today and clear the air. My goal and intention with all of this is to hopefully start these types of uncomfortable conversations that are needed to be discussed, so that anyone who may feel insecure, who also deals with body dysmorphia or self-hate, knows that they are not alone. For those of you who haven't seen the video that Louis posted about a week ago, this is what he said. Quote, "I was made aware today that Lacey Schwimmer was on Cheryl Burke's podcast, and they were talking about 2008. An interview I did with Monica Rizzo, and Monica already apologized to me because she twisted my words. I never even spoke about Lacey or Cheryl or their weight. I really feel bad for them that they were made to feel so bad by that journalism, but I'm here to tell you, on the health of my sons, my family, I never said anything about their weight. I love Cheryl Burke. Lacey, we never really connected. I would never shame her on her body, so I apologize to you that you were made to feel bad about that piece. It just was not ever coming from my mouth. I respect you as a dancer, and you were great on Dancing with the Stars, and I really don't know what else to say. I never said those words. If I did, I would have owned up to it. And here's to anyone that feels shame about your body. I am the number one person that would stand up for you. This is what I base my whole company on, is helping others and making others feel better about themselves. Again, last time, and I'm never going to talk about this ever again. I never said anything about Lacey or Cheryl's weight. Thank you." As you can imagine, this conversation will bring up so many heavy emotions for me. The subject of body shaming is really sensitive and traumatizing, and in all transparency has been a continuous challenge for me to process not just my feelings, but also to be able to translate them into words. You know, I know a lot of you will be like, why aren't you over it? It happened back in 2008. Well, I wish it was that easy, but unfortunately, my body dysmorphia that I currently deal with every single day is no joke. I also feel like it's my responsibility as a public figure and mental health advocate to do my best to be vulnerable and transparent when choosing to talk about my experiences and tell my stories, even through triggering topics like today's topic about body shaming and body image in general, even though I may not have all of the solutions or answers in my back pocket. The importance of shedding light on this topic is what really matters when you hear my conversation with Louie. There's not one day I don't think about that time being body shamed, not only in the workplace, but seeing and reading articles about it as well. It clearly has left me scarred and still is an open wound to this day. Before bringing Louie on, I first and foremost want to express my love and admiration for him, regardless of the past. Whether or not he said it, I forgive him and have forgiven him a long time ago. Okay, and before we get started, I want you guys to know that it's been a few weeks since both Louie and I have interacted, text, talked, etc. Louie did not reach out to me prior to his Instagram post, nor has Louie reached out to me personally to discuss what he may have heard about my interview with Lacey Schwimmer, as I never knew how he felt until I saw his post like everyone else did for the first time about a week ago. Let's get started. Please welcome Louie Van Amstel. So obviously, I saw your Instagram post, Louie, and I first want to say thank you for coming on this podcast and how much I love you and I respect you regardless of any of this stuff. I know.
That's why I said yes to want to talk about this, to clear the air once and for all, even though it was already cleared.
Right. And I really appreciate it. And I just want also just to be clear with you and my listeners that my new job title, that means, first of all, that this is never about me, these interviews. It's about my guest. It's about, stuff that maybe we both have experienced or that person has experience on Dancing with the Stars. This is heavily about, obviously, the show, sex lights and spray tans, right? Hence the title. And, with that comes some stuff that people may not want to hear. And with that comes stuff that is what has happened in my guest's life and their own experience, which is why with Lacey Schwimmer, I'm not sure. Did you hear the episode that I did with her? Did you hear the whole episode? Or?
I did not, because, of course, we were in LA for the tribute of Len, which I'm sure we're going to talk about too. Yeah. And then I came back to quite a lot of family matters that I don't really want to talk about.
No worries.
Because I want to keep it
yes, of course.
Dry. It really is. It really is bad. So I've been occupied with something else. So when this happened, I just thought, no, I don't need this on top of everything else. I never said anything like that. So that's why I thought you and I are going to talk about it. Ultimately, I love you. So I wanted to hear from you too. Like, what happened?
Okay. So, with all due respect, look, it would be nice if you could maybe just go back and hear it, because really you and that quote that was said, it was just a little speck of what this interview was about. It was about an hour and a half long. We talked first about, her dad just passed away, Buddy Schwimmer, which I'm sure you heard.
He was an icon in our industry.
Yeah. And I haven't talked to Lacey since, oh my God, I didn't know any of the stuff that Lacey had said in this interview, right? Yeah. So it's been almost a decade. So we had a lot to catch up on. And during that time in 2008, when all of that happened, it wasn't, no blame was pointed at you or Max. That was not my intention. This was towards the end of the actual conversation and interview with Lacey. And I read her the quote that was published originally from Deborah Starr from TV Guide. Okay. And I said, people look at the show to be inspired and think, if I just work hard enough, I can look like that. Louie Van Amstel, who in Dancing with the Stars season 6 was paired with Priscilla Presley, told the new issue of TV Guide. If they watch someone who's dancing her butt off and she's still heavy, they can be discouraged. You have to take that responsibility. Van Amstel and fellow professional Maxim Chmerkovskiy spoke out about Burke's weight and that of dancing newcomer Lacey Schwimmer in the mag's new issue. Chmerkovskiy, who was forced to leave Dancing with the Stars earlier this season when his partner Misty May Trainer tore her Achilles tendon, said he asked the women to take stock of their figures at the start of the season. When I first saw these women this season, I said, you guys, the camera adds 10 pounds. Chmerkovskiy recounted, you have to do something about this. Now that was because I read that because I never heard from Lacey about how she felt about during this time that, by the way, still has had a lasting effect, not your quote, but the domino effect that this created. Whoever published this, Deborah Starr published this, not Monica Rizzo. And then from then on, it was every publication, every magazine, and still to this day, really, it has continued on. And even prior to this, Louis, even in the dancing world, it's always been an issue. My weight has been an issue, whether it's from my coaches or whatever. And for me, the intention with Lacey was to have a bigger conversation about body image and body shaming. It wasn't to, focus on this. Lacey also was quoted saying that she would never throw you and Max under the bus. She loves the both of you. But at that time, she felt sad. She really felt sad. I'm going to read you what she said, just so you get the context, and then we can obviously discuss everything. But she said,
please, yes, because I'm just letting you finish.
Thank you. No, for sure. And you can take the stage here in a second. She says, and it's not Max's or Louie's fault. I'll never do that to them. And when I'm 19 years old and I'm excited to do this brand new venture and be celebrated for something that I worked for my whole life doing, to hear people that I've looked up to. I used to train with Louie, by the way. My dad used to trade him lessons for me, by the way. It literally broke my spirit, and I didn't want people to know that because, again, like you said, I carried myself. I don't let people in too easily. It ruined me. I remember crying. The only thing I can say that was positive from that is that it put me and you together. And it was the one time I felt like I wasn't singled out. I was a part of someone who was loved and honored on this television program. And we were both struggling with this issue. So from that, it has definitely messed up everything.
Well, passive-aggressively, she is blaming us. But I'm going to say it again on record. I never, ever even mentioned your name or Lacey's name when I did an interview with Monica Rizzo. That's the only one.
So you never did that with Deborah Starr?
Nope. No. And they all took it from someone else. And once the ball is rolling, the snowball gets bigger and bigger really fast, especially if it's juicy. I would never, ever body shame you, Lacey, or anyone else. My 3-time world dance champion partner, Julie Fryer, who herself is not your typical beach body dancer, and yet she became a 3-time world champion. I am so proud of that woman and you for how you have dealt with the people that do. I never even mentioned your name. And one thing, though, in 2008, when you went on Ellen, when your publicist, Sue Midori, made it sure that you had your moment to share, to help others. I was so proud of you when you did that interview. I also talked to you about it, and I made sure that you knew that I never, ever said it. I even believe last year we talked about it again. So I have a question for you. When you know from me that I didn't say it, why did you not tell Lacey to say, hey, I can't say anything about Max, but I can say what I said. I never said it. Why did you not tell Lacey, hey, by the way, Louis and I did talk about it, and he swears to me that he never said it.
So this was not to, again, bash you. This was just to start the conversation of something we both experienced together so that she could talk and be open about her feelings because she had never discussed it. But it was not, it was just me reading a quote from TV Guide.
I know, but all these people that heard that podcast never heard anyone. I couldn't defend myself. You didn't say anything. So those people think, oh, I guess they said it because no one shared the contrary. And I hope
Max took accountability for his part.
I don't have to take anything.
No, I'm not saying you should.
Because I never said it. I never would. I build a whole brand based on helping people that want to change their physical, mental, or emotional self. And I had Kelly Osbourne in season 9. I mean,
I believe you.
I hate people that body shame others. So it would be so hypocrite of me to say that. But I would like to share for you and your listeners what actually happened, because I remember it as if it was yesterday.
Same.
2008, we were on summer tour, and Monica Rizzo asked me to do an interview with her. I was at Memphis airport flying because we had a day off, and she started talking and shared with me what was going on.
Wait, so Monica Rizzo, for my listeners, she's a journalist that worked for People magazine that no longer works there.
Yes, and she also was a professor. I don't know if she still is. We're talking 15 years ago. She teaches journalism at UCLA at that time. So we talk, and when she shared with me, she wanted a reply from me. And all I said was, and I still remember it because I pulled myself in, and all of us, we all put on weight during the summer tour. Why? Because we dance at 8 p.m. We don't want to eat before we go on stage. So we have this bus ride, and then you start eating at wrong times. I use myself as an example. I would eat steak and fries at 2 a.m. in my hotel room, or I would skip breakfast because I would wake up at noon. Things like that. I never mentioned your name. And because I mentioned anything, they just pulled in my name to that whole thing that was happening apparently with Max and other people that were body shaming you and Lacey. Then on top, I went back, when I read it, I went back to Monica and I said, Monica, you did wrong here. And she apologized. And she uses this situation as a professor at UCLA. And these are all her words, not mine, that she says, I made a mistake because I was pressured by my editor so that I would get juicy material. And I was the one that had to pay the price. So she apologized to me, not officially, but for me, that was enough. I knew that I never said anything and I never would, but she is using that situation for future journalists to say, don't ever sell your soul to the devil. Keep your integrity as a journalist. And I appreciate that she did that. But ultimately, I never said it. I never would. And I would always defend people that are body shamed.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And by the way, Louis, I love you. Like I said at the top of this interview, I forgive you for whether or not you said it or not. Doesn't matter, right? Like really, again.
To me, it does.
But I'm just telling you that there's no hard feelings with me, just so you know. Now with Lacey, she's not here, obviously, to whether or not she still feels that. But from the interview, she's not even worried about it. But what we really want to discuss is just in general for women, especially in this country, you know, body image and body shaming is a real thing, especially in the entertainment industry that we work in, and being underrepresented, especially on a show that we both were a part of. You know, Lacey mentioned, for example,
part of it. I still want to go back. I love that show. And
oh, no, you are. I said that we were. Oh, sorry. Mind you, that you are a part of, that I was a part of. Sorry.
I still am. I love that show.
Yes. No, I love the show too. But I'm
also, Cheryl. And when Lacey in her, and I wish she was on so we can actually clear the air, when she says, I'm not blaming them or Louis, and he was my teacher, and I did take 1 or 2 lessons from Buddy Schwimmer when we were back in Europe. And if she was that person, she never once came up to me and say, Louis, did you say this? I mean, how many journalists change the truth just to sell papers, just to get more subscribers? Lacey never once came to me. I made sure I came to you. You and I have a very long history. I wanted you to know from me right away in 2008. I never said it. I never will. And I'm proud for you to go on Ellen, to use that platform to help others. And I live in the fitness industry, Cheryl.
Yeah.
I do this every day of my life. I have my own podcast now. I am doing webinars every month. What do I do to help people with their mental, physical, and emotional self? It's and quite honestly, I think you are healthier than people that are size 0 or size 2. And let that be to all the. I don't think size 0 to size 2 or 4 really healthy, but because of society, all the commercials, everyone, you need to be X, Y, and Z. No, you need to be happy with who you are. And if that is size 0, size 8, size 10, or any size, it shouldn't matter. Don't judge a book by its cover. And it's what I believe, always have.
It's it has not you or not Max specifically, but because of with a platform like the show, obviously this was a bigger deal, and I'm still dealing with it to this day when it comes to body dysmorphia. You know that about me. And it has, again, started way before Dancing with the Stars, right? But it just has obviously enhanced, and it has really exaggerated this whole, when I look at myself in the mirror, which I'm currently working on, like even my therapist said to me a couple of days ago, like, you know, we haven't even talked about this body dysmorphia that you're suffering from, because whenever my therapist brings it up, it is a sensitive subject. Like I'm full of anxiety when it's brought up, and it's has everything to do with what I can do, you know, to have more self-respect and to really believe in my own beauty. And what I see is not what everyone sees in the mirror. It's so, it's like I see a different figure, and it's not necessarily the best. Right. So from
you need to work on that, because
I am working on it currently.
Gorgeous, very intelligent. You are stubborn as FUCK, and you are a force to be reckoned with, and you have to work on that.
Yeah.
Because you need to open, well, you are doing it because you're part of Iron Radio with your podcast. So keep doing what you're doing. Just know I'm your supporter. When people say, just let it go, in a week, no one talks about this. And I'm not that person.
Yeah.
And luckily, my publicist and very close friend, Jay Schwartz, was with me. That's why we both said, I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not afraid. Because I'm a supporter of everyone needs to be home inside their own body. And when the lights turn on, they need to be happy with who they are.
I agree. And when, you know, going back to the tour thing and like that whole thing that was taken out of context, you know, when you said, because it's interesting, because what I read was that we weren't on tour was the quote. Obviously, now I know they flipped your words. But why do you think that the women, like women in general, make the headlines about weight gain versus men?
I think, quite honestly, there's a lot of jealousy. And there's a lot of preconceived idea. You have to be size 0 or 2. If you're size 4, that's already you're on.
Well, I was a size 4 when this happened, which is crazy, right?
Well, there you go. It is. But really, if you look now, 15 years later, I am happy to see where it's going. It's just the Hollywood industry is slow going when it comes to that. But we, as people, we have to not buy it. And I think it's happening. We don't have to buy that you have to be size 0 or size 2. You shouldn't have to. And also, quite honestly, being in the fitness industry, I can call myself a fitness expert. That is not healthy. You need carbs. You need, I really, and again, if you want to look up pictures of Julie Fryer between 1990 and now, you'll see that she has a very similar body type than you and Lacey, and you're all winners. I haven't talked to Lacey in like you 15 years, but
why didn't you reach out to Lacey when all this went down, or you guys just don't have that type of relationship?
No, we don't. I mean, no, no. There is more. There is no relationship there. No,
none.
In season 9 with Kelly Osbourne, who was dealing with her own stuff, there were too many things going on that showed other sides, but that's not what this is about. I wish her well. I never even mentioned her name, and I wouldn't ever say anything about anything body image. I can't say it enough.
Right. So, no. And this is not an accusation. I'm not here to, I'm not accusing you. I'm just telling you the context of how it was brought up, honestly.
But you also know how social media works. If a statement is made, the general public can make up their own opinion. And that's the whole point of social media.
Absolutely.
So, you know, when you say, hey, there was no foul or harm, or there is no blame. But
nobody even mentioned that in the interview with social media. It wasn't, the focus wasn't on you or Max. It was the focus more on how Lacey was quoted saying how when she was a size 2, that she was put in like the Macy's performances, or she was treated differently than when she was a size 6, or like when one of the producers walked into her fitting and said, put fishnets on, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there. And it's, that's Hollywood for you.
So do you think that in the dance world, like, do you think that the show could be better represented as far as different shapes and sizes go, or like the dance world in general?
The dance world in general, I believe so. Even on Bravo, there was this reality show about Pro-Am.
Yes, I saw. I didn't see it though. Is it good? Is it like?
I mean, one of them, I think, ruined it by saying, oh, the pro dancers are gigolos and we have to pay for everything for them. And then I thought, okay, well, if you're enjoying his hobby, why would you throw all the pros under the bus and make them all look like gigolos? No, you can say, no, I don't want to pay it. Anyway, she was not the person I wanted to refer to. There was another lady that really had an issue with her own body type, but she was the better dancer. But she was always in the back of the final. And she was speaking out on that she believes it is because of her body image, while she was a better dancer. And look, the judges, they have their own criteria. Is it wrong to judge someone on their body image? I mean, I look at dancing and I have proven to myself that when I judge, I look at the dancing. If someone is a size bigger, I will look at, okay, how do they behave themselves? If they're happy with who they are, I love it because they're making a point to say, I am happy.
Like confident, you mean like from within?
Yes, then I applaud that. But if they are not happy with themselves and you see that in the expression, and then on top they're being compared to size 2 versus being size 8, then I'm thinking, well, what's her story? How can we help her with her story? I still wouldn't judge her on her body image, but I would think, hey, what could she do to change her mentality so she comes out stronger and could say, pardon my language, you world, this is me. You're going to take me who I am. And this is what I would say to people that are not happy inside. Find a way. And if it means you want to lose 20 pounds, then lose those 20 pounds because you want to, not because of pressure.
How do you do that when all you see, for example, in the ballroom world, people who are the top 7 in the world, they are not necessarily right. They're not necessarily curvy.
They're like this. They're like this.
Right. And you're born like that. But I could never be like this, even if I freaking wanted to, because I have hip bones, right? Like this is not going to change.
Cheryl, let's take you because we've been on the show. I mean, of course, you've done many more seasons, but since season 2, we've been on there for many seasons together. There are people that have been really critical of your weight. But look at all the people that you have behind you, the people that say, we support you, we identify with you. That's really, and here, look at me. When I get one criticism, I go by that one and it ruins my day while there might be hundreds of positive.
Same.
I get it. It's so easy to help someone else than getting it. But ultimately, we have to. So for me, I've had it the opposite. People might say there's something wrong with him. Oh, he's too skinny. Is he sick? I mean, the opposite happens too.
It's still body shaming, though. Yes.
Yes, it is. But let's say people that have issues with anorexia and bulimia, they're too skinny. We think, are they sick? Well, yeah, but not by choice. We don't know someone's life. And now being an adoptive father, having kids from the foster care system, I've learned to judge even less or judge, but how can I turn and help this person rather than, oh, they have a problem. Well, they have a problem, but how can I help?
We never know what's going on behind closed doors with anybody, even if we have a smile on our face, huh?
Oftentimes when you see the smile, you know, what are they not sharing? And I have that with one of my sons right now.
Yeah.
It's lovey-dovey, but that's the part that I'm worried about. But being in the business I'm in right now, I see this a lot because I go a lot and do these in-person classes, the on-demand program. I do talks afterwards, and to read what people go through, what we all go through. But somehow the message, that I can give is that our body, our own body, is the most important and most expensive house we own. You have to take care of it for the rest of your life. And unfortunately, we work too much on the one we see, not on the two that we don't, the mental and the emotional self.
The soul, your insides, like it's the intuition, like our bodies are so intelligent that I for sure can speak from my own experience that I tend to listen to my mind more than my body when my body is telling me whether it is make this decision or not, don't drive down this alleyway or whatever it is. It really does give a signal. It is, the body takes the score is a book, and it is so right about like when it comes to trauma as well. There's a feeling that your body will tell you if you've gotten over something or if you haven't dealt with it, and it does keep the score. I have trauma in my body from decades ago, but really until I face it and really heal, it's never going to go away. And it's just, we haven't even figured it out yet because it's so complex and so beautiful. And yet I tend to, and I think most people, especially in this country, we don't listen to our bodies enough. There's not enough body awareness, I think.
And I have a question for you, and you might not feel comfortable answering it. I know you since you're 14.
I know.
Or 15.
Don't I have the same body, though? I swear to God, I have the same body.
You have the same body. But you've shared some things in the last 10 years with the public that you kept inside of you for at least 20 years.
Like my addiction?
Addiction, but also the fact with your biological father. It doesn't matter if it's abusive.
Like my child abuse?
There is adversity that has happened to you. And you kept that for 20 years. To process that, it's not going to be a day, a week, a month, a year. It's for the rest of your life. And that's okay. And I think the more you keep doing that, the more that the image of yourself will change too, because I'm sure there is shame, there's guilt.
Oh my God.
There is,
beyond.
You wonder 20 years later, are people going to believe me? Are they going to think I'm using it to gain followers?
I gaslight myself all the time. Like sometimes I'd convince myself that it didn't happen because I don't want to deal. And that's also when I was in abusive relationships, like actual relationships. And then from when I was a kid, testifying against my molester wasn't the easiest thing in the world, obviously. And even then, I remember gaslighting myself, like, this guy didn't hurt me. Like, why am I doing this? So there's a lot of issues that I have held in my body. You're right. And which is why I haven't stopped therapy, because it's been really hard for me not to feel them, but it's been hard for me to translate my feelings into words. That's been very challenging for me because this is why dance has saved my life, because I was able to express myself through movement. I just wasn't able to express myself through my words. Do you remember? Like I couldn't talk.
I look, I've been alongside you for a long time.
Yes, I know.
But now in the end, when you said, are you referring to the addiction? No, I'm talking about when you were competing as a ballroom dancer, when you were in New York City, when we were sitting next to each other on that couch before you joined the show in season 2. Those feelings, you have to go through it. And I think most of us, we throw it under the rug. I did.
We know.
But I was quite young when I was reading a book, and it was this lady, in her 40s, she had headaches well into her 40s. Turned out, long story short, when she was a kid, she was babysitting her brother. They had to go past a friend. He was playing kickball, soccer. The ball fell ran onto the road. He ran onto the road. The girl was upstairs. When she came down, saw her brother dead, was hit.
God.
While she was a young teenager, she felt so much guilt and shame that when she was in her 40s and 50s, it came out that she felt so guilty. She never could face her parents. And then her parents both passed away. She could never close the...
so she never told her parents.
Chapter, the shame towards the parents, the guilt. So she wrote a letter and her headaches were gone.
Interesting.
I thought, I am not going to wait to deal with my emotions because they're relating to my parents with their alcohol and stuff. And I didn't want to deal with it. So that's why I'm such a believer of going through it. Don't put it on the rug because it's worth it in the long run. It's painful to have to go through.
And it's more painful, actually, because I've started to really try to be conscious of what I'm trying to do as much as possible. Obviously, I'm not present at all times, but I'm like, I started to see where, okay, do I choose quickly? Do I want to face it or do I want to run away? And I'm a professional number. If it's not alcohol, which obviously I'm still sober, but then it could be just staying busy. I'm addicted to staying busy so I don't have to face my feelings or face whatever is coming up. But really, it only takes 5 to 10. It goes away. It's like waves of the ocean. You know, the feelings come and go, and then I start to make up this fake reality in my head. Then it's like the question is, do I believe in my own reality? And even though it's not the real reality of the situation, there's like so many different layers and dynamics of it. But then I realized it's so much less painful to just face it.
Because you feel so much lighter afterwards.
Yeah.
And I think the podcast too is a great way to share with the world your therapy. I did a podcast yesterday about fear and doubt. And I went back to 1992 and I was bawling. I couldn't stop it. And I'm thinking, you know what? Am I going to redo this? And then I thought, no, this is real. It's real. So
what is your podcast called?
It's going to be Louis Van Amstel. Very simple.
I love it.
We're filming some right now, and then we're going to launch soon.
Oh, cool! Congratulations.
Thank you. It's
therapeutic, right?
That's why. And I've been, after my workouts, on-demand workouts, I would have a 5-minute talk. I would take a subject. And it's mostly, again, funny that we're talking about body shaming and body weight, because I am always say, stop judging yourself, but start looking at one thing you can change today. Or, hey, look what you just did. You burned 600 calories. Or, hey, I talk about frame, or talk about any subject matter. And then I thought, well, why am I not turning these into actual podcasts? I do them anyway, but they're only for our on-demand members. So
I'm happy to hear that you're talking about it, because in the Instagram video I saw, you're like, I never want to talk about this again. But I think it's so important to talk. I think you're referring now, I understand, back to the quote.
You and
I thought
Lacey,
you meant in general, but like, I think it's important to have this conversation.
Okay, I just get a message and I'm going to have to do some research. I had 2 people that I was friendly with, and it was indeed Debbie and Monica. I need to confirm with Jay. I still believe it was Monica.
Oh, but TV Guide published it, though.
Yes, but so many did.
Yeah.
I need to confirm that it was Monica, who was the journalist at UCLA. No, for me, because it would also not be fair if people would reach out to Monica and say, how dare you do that? Because she did it and she apologized to me.
Monica Rizzo, she helped me. She wrote my book too. For Monica. We love you, Monica.
But she's with long hair, the glasses, right?
No, she didn't have long hair. No, that's not Monica. I think that's Debbie.
Okay, then in that
because Monica had short hair, no glasses.
Okay, but like a little curly, longish, but not long.
No, but I know. But Deborah Starr has longer hair with glasses.
She wore glasses.
That's her. Yeah.
Okay, then I go on record. It was Debbie, not Monica. Yeah. Apologies, Monica. It was Debbie, and Debbie Seibel.
She doesn't work for TV Guide anymore, but her full name's Deborah Starr. People called her Debbie.
Anyway, I am really happy that I cleared that, because that would be so unfair if I would talk about a complete different.
Yes.
So
yes, and Monica doesn't work in this business, I don't think, anymore. She works for the Children's Hospital over here in LA. So
well, I did like both ladies. It's just what she did, and she apologized. And this is, I guess, too, that journalists are pressured too, because everyone wants to keep their job, and that's what she did. With
Dancing with the Stars and the dancers, look, there's not a lot of representation when it comes to different types of bodies, physical bodies on the show. I would say now, the women are all very tiny. Do you feel like the show could use maybe more of a voluptuous type woman to be representing the pros more?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but as far as pros, I think, and this is me giving my opinion based on the show that I see, is that what they've been doing more is more aware of the diversity of ethnicities, which to me, I only applaud the show for. Now, if they want to be diverse in ethnicity and diverse in body types, you have a very small pool of professional dancers to pull from. Look, you have thousands to pull from, but they also have to have the personality that people would like at home. Yeah. There are so many variables, and I'm not defending anyone or attacking anyone. I'm just looking at it from a production point of view.
You're also you're free to have your own opinion,
Yeah, no, but that opinion is that because having my own business where you deal with all body types, all ethnicities, whether they're red or blue or they are gay or straight, it doesn't matter. Right. But diversity is key. So could they have a dancer? But then again, do you know of any pro dancers that you would suggest to the show?
Well, I mean, I did. You know me, I haven't been in the competitive world for a while, but back in the day, I'd say there's like Shayla, me, Lacey, Shayla Parrish, I think was her last name.
Parrish. Yeah, she's back with that name.
And then there was also like, Fabian, what's his name?
Sanchez?
Yes.
Sanchez.
So I'm talking about that generation. I don't know now, obviously, but yeah, there was for sure.
Yeah, but to me, these were all great dancers in good shape. I don't think that.
Well, I just mean more of a curvy because there is a difference. There is a difference.
Well, someone I know retired.
Well, yes, I know that.
So
I'm very well aware, Louis.
You made that decision.
Speaking of,
so you could have been representing.
Well, I would think.
But Look,
Lacey would go back, but she was not let go. She made that clear as well, which I had no idea about that. I thought it was her decision.
Well, that's what I thought you did because I texted you.
It is my decision. It was always my decision to leave the show, but not for Lacey.
Sorry, I was talking about, no, never mind. I thought you were talking tribute 3 weeks ago. Never mind.
Oh, yes, with Len. No, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So, okay. So speaking of, let's just get there now. The reason why I want you to know personally, because I am very grateful for your text message because you are one of 2 people who have reached out to me, which I take near and dear to my heart. And the only reason why I didn't respond is because when you text me this, I had no idea that it was in the press. Okay. But what I did know was that it wasn't my decision. Then that was my heart I had to take care of my mental health first. And I don't want to make this about me because this is about Len Goodman, but I don't want to make this about me. But what we should discuss is what that text. I just want you to know that I love you so much for reaching out. And, you really know who your friends are when this types of stuff happens.
You have many more friends when you go up. There are many more friends when you're no longer in the spotlight. And I don't want to ever be part of that. And you know that. And that's why I reached out. Because, again, in one point, even though I'm the oldest pro of all pros.
No one's counting.
And I don't care. I feel great for my age.
You look amazing.
Anyway. When we were there, I was just rehearsing. And of course, I heard rumors and I hear it, but I don't stay out of that because maybe that's the maturity level. But then afterwards, I heard, okay, it was in the press. Then it was online. And then you talk with Lacey. And then I thought, oh, okay. And then
I announced it on my social media that I was not invited. So it wasn't like a thing. It was like, okay, they just picked it up from my social media, because I wanted to be clear that I wanted to be, I of course would have never said no to that,
Yeah. And that is from a business point of view, that's between you and the show, because
absolutely
I don't hear rumors, opinions, and I do not want to be part of that.
No,
but
and nor should
then
you.
it wasn't just you and Lacey on your podcast talking about it, but then it was also Sharna.
No, we weren't talking about
And
Lynn Goodman. We weren't talking about Lynn.
But
no, with Lacey,
there's
no.
also two separate, I guess there were two separate things. Yeah. But then also Sharna, or you were in a picture with Sharna. Anyway, and her fiance came out and said,
Brian said what he said. Yes. But I was not in on any of it. I just knew how I felt, and that was only my responsibility.
Yeah. So then we were joking during the rehearsals. It was the current pros and the OGs, and we OGs or the old guys or the originals. And of course, that's what we were joking with it. And then once he came out defending Sharna, and why was she not on? I just started raising the question.
Wait, who said that?
Brian.
Oh, Brian. Yes. Brian said that.
I think she did too, but then he stuck up. Good for him to stick up for his lady. But I just started wondering, okay, we've had about 30 pros over 32 seasons, and we've had quite a few in the first 3 that were originals that Sharna wasn't part of, that Lacey wasn't part of. So
they're not OGs though.
So, but exactly. So I was just thinking when I saw Brian's piece attacking the show, I was thinking, but what constitutes an OG? Is that the first season? Because then it's only 6 pros.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
Is it the first 2, first 3? Where do you draw the line?
What do you think?
Well, I started thinking about it and I thought I could say, well, then it would be
not me or Sharna, right? Because I wasn't a part of the first season.
No, but then Max, then it wouldn't be. Then Anita and I.
Where's Charlotta Jorgensen?
Exactly. Who no one probably remembers. She was with John O'Hurley. And
she was great.
Job with him. And she did one season. Nick Kosovich.
Where's Nick Kosovich? Where the hell's Ashley Del Grosso?
Exactly. So if you talk
I hear you.
OG, it would have been myself, Edita, Jonathan Roberts, Ashley Del Grosso, Alec Mazo, and Charlotte Jorgensen.
Oh
Those
gosh.
6 are the original 6, and you are part of that group. And but then again, it's between, because I don't.
It's not even between us. Like honestly, I didn't even get a call. None of it. Now, do I have a conspiracy theory? Absolutely. Now, do I know it's the real fact? No. But like, regardless, Louis, it's okay. It's okay. It's like, this is the bigger picture is that it was beautiful. I loved every single moment of it. It got me so emotional. And the only thing that I wanted to ask was, how was that experience? Because it looked beautiful.
It was so bittersweet.
I'm sure.
And beautiful, amazing.
Chilling. Because I got chills.
But I'm not doing it to rub it in that you weren't there.
No, it doesn't matter. This is not, rub it in all you want.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying it. I'm answering the question.
Yes,
from
please.
My point of view.
And I'm curious.
Look, did I see Max last season when I was on? He came I saw him. Mark was on last season, so we've already seen each other. But I hadn't seen Kimmy for years. Karina, I have a career with her before Dancing with the Stars. I haven't seen her in years. We text back. Edita, haven't seen her on social media. Yes, but and Tony Dolani. So we had a great time.
I'm sure.
So there were 2-3 different things going on. We had a great time busting each other's balls again, like the old days. In rehearsal, they'd have us not listen. We were giggling, throwing each other under the bus. It was just like old times.
Oh my God. Spacing.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Be aware.
Yes. All of that. But then, the last move, we had to all do our arm.
Oh my God. I was ugly crying.
The moment that happened the first time, and we turned towards the judges' table, and there was this spotlight on that table with a silver hat. I mean, from all that boo 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 to ugly crying every single time. And there was a beautiful moment on Monday, camera blocking. It happened again on that moment. And now Conrad Green was sitting in Bruno's seat, and Alfonso was sitting in Len's seat, just watching. And when we turned to see both of them bawling, now again, bawling to see them. So we're all in this together. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, but it was sad. But
it was also beautiful. Like, this is what Len would have just given an 11 if he could, like he would have appreciated this, especially the last few seasons, because by the way, as a fan now watching the show, to see such authentic, not simple, because it ain't simple, but like to see what we all do best come together, and the simplicity of it was perfection. It's like there was nothing else needed. Like never did they ever have to.
Yeah, and I think Conrad Green, our showrunner, is doing a great job in slowly but surely bringing it back to its glory.
Because I'm not so sure that would have happened without Conrad Green,
It wouldn't have. One other thing that was, so when Dana Katz, our executive producer and casting director, texted me if I want to be part of it, I was supposed to be in Europe. So I said, I cancel Europe. Boom, quickly. I want to be part of this. I asked her, is Sue, Len's wife, going to be there? Well, probably not. Anyway, 2 minutes before we go live, she was sitting there in the audience. Yeah. So Len's wife, Sue, was in the audience and came up to us. And of course, she was full of emotion and grateful. What a great way to ultimately celebrate his life. Yes. With his favorite song, his favorite dance, the English waltz, to celebrate a British man who has done so much for all of us on national TV and for dancing in general. Look, when he retired during last season, I hugged him.
So did I.
Looked beautiful, but he felt so frail. Did you have any idea?
No, I could tell he was in pain. But I don't know if it was emotional. I didn't really know. All I knew was that when he announced his retirement, obviously I thought to myself, well, he just wants to spend time. He's always mentioned his son.
I just thought, well, how many years has he not done just the United States Dance with the Stars, but also the BBC Strictly Come Dancing? They would get on a flight Wednesday morning, judge the show in England on Saturday, fly back to Los Angeles to do the show here, and do that for multiple seasons. I just thought it's just time. He's late 70s, right? Yeah. Mid-70s, late 70s. It's time for him to enjoy the last years of his life, not knowing that he was in his last.
I mean, to hear that he was in hospice was really shocking to me, because I didn't realize how bad it was.
Yeah.
And then to hear Izzy, you remember Izzy Pick, our old showrunner back then? Yep, she wrote this beautiful tribute saying how hard of a worker Len is, and that if it wasn't for Len, basically, that the show would have never happened. It was because he was like the through line with it all, right? And what I appreciate about Len just in general is that he was the same person on and off camera. There was nothing, he wasn't just turning it on. He was just as funny and harsh and all of it. And he's just, no matter what, believed what he believed in. He was going to freaking say what he was going to say. And that's always had to go back to why this show was the show in the first place, because of ballroom dance.
Yep. No, and he knew so much about it. I met him when he was 15 and I didn't know how funny he was. I mean, he was more funny then.
Wasn't he a theater arts world champion?
I don't know his titles. I know he judged me in Blackpool.
Yeah, and then I think he did it all, but
it's he was never, I don't think, a world champion. He was just very well-rounded and very much about social dancing. That's
interesting.
Yes, that's why I met him in Holland. He was doing annual congresses to teach ballroom dance studio owners and teachers how to teach. That was his strength. And that is why he was so brilliant on the show. Yeah. It was not about showing how good he was of a competitive dancer, but he knew how to criticize someone that has never danced before, and how to give him little tidbits, how to improve from a social dancer to left foot, feet to an actual good dancer.
So he basically understood Pro-Am before there was Pro-Am.
Yes.
Brilliant.
That's how I met him in Holland.
What do you think of the judges now? The three?
I wish... I get it. Their personas, especially Bruno and Carrie-Anne, who have been there for 32 seasons, they bring in an element other than ballroom. I get it. But when you do these shows for so many years, I would like to see a little more diversity in comments. And Derek, I think he's improving every single season. What I would like to see is more layers coming off of trying to be a persona rather than just be. Because does Derek have a lot of experience teaching within our industry? No, but he has a lot of dance experience that he could really organically just live from. But it's hard. Having judged the Dutch version, I have a whole new perspective on sitting on a chair and being told by the host, Louis, talk. And now you have to say, while millions are watching, you have to say something constructive, something you have to be within your lane. It's hard.
And do it in 2 sentences, please.
Yes, I believe there could be more depth mentioned to the celebrities and the couples, even the pros.
Yes. Thank you. I was just going to say that. Really? I wish that we would have gotten the note, because I would say we're a little bit more than 50% of this partnership. Like, I wish someone would say to me, Cheryl, maybe you shouldn't do lifts with this person, or maybe you should stop counting out loud on live television because it's really distracting. And maybe it's giving your celebrity, feeling of discouragement. There's certain things that, like, I don't know why they don't talk to us. I know it's not about us, but it is also.
Well, when I judged in Holland, I don't know if the producers liked it or not. I would.
Good for you.
I would say from a pro's perspective, there was very little content of your gotcha, or, hey, next time create a simpler flow, because then your celebrity can focus better on form and frame, etc. And
that's what I'm doing for my recaps every week. I'm literally talking about the pros. I wish someone would do this.
As long as you do it consistently.
Of course.
And you do it in a way.
It's constructive. It's constructive. Yes.
If it's something that the audience can learn, it's entertaining education.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see more.
I mean, I'm not judging people on something they can't change. I'm judging because I have some constructive criticism to add to this, because I know the judges don't have a lot of time, or they're not mentioning it.
Yeah. No, it's what is also a fun part, that when you get eliminated is where you can not be a judge, but help others. And at first, in the earlier years, I was more, heck no, I'm not. and now helping Whitney last season and going in and helping left and right, it really is kind of fun to have a different role other than just your own celebrity partner. That's another outlet than being a judge.
Like being a mentor.
But I truly hope, and I have a feeling you would want the same. I would like a 4th seat. I would like them to go back to 4.
I actually don't mind 3.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm kind of being selfish here. I would like to be a judge, and the show knows it.
I mean, for sure.
I would like it. I mean, I trained most of the pros on the show.
Yeah.
I have the most choreography experience. I've done my own Broadway show. I've done many shows with Julie, with Karina, with Joanna Lunas, that for the world superstars that are not your typical ballroom. So there are so many sides that I would like to talk about. I just love Dancing with the Stars.
Of course.
And, we should always be grateful for ABC, BBC, and
absolutely.
Because
it changed our lives.
We would not have the careers that we have right now.
I couldn't agree with you more. I wanted to ask you what you're up to and where people can find you, and any other type of tips as far as body positivity goes. Feel free.
Focus on you, yourself, and make sure that every decision you make is because it makes you feel better. It enhances your life. And the reason why, the better you feel inside and take time for you, you will be a better parent. You'll be a better partner, spouse. You'll be a better person in your community. But if you are constantly pleasing everyone else, helping everyone else, you put yourself down. At one point, you won't have the energy. You'll get injured. You might develop. I am a believer. If you are in such a mental and emotional turmoil all the time, your physical body will try and fight it. But at one point, that body can't fight it, and it will turn it into some kind of disease. Or I'm a believer of that. So I want a good physical karma. So I will work on my mental and physical and emotional self every single day. I have to, not just for my company and my own sanity. I have a child that I'm working with right now that is really on the wrong path. And it takes everything, every molecule inside of me. But luckily that I am taking that time for me. Sounds selfish, but I do go to the gym.
It's not selfish.
I do that for me so that I can be that stronger person and stay calm. Because here's the other side. If you're in a bad place, your patience is gone. You will start, your little window of tolerance gets smaller. Now you start raising your voice and who knows, cussing.
Temper tantrums.
Yes. And since I have my son doing that, I want to make sure that I stay calm.
Well, you have to lead by example.
Lead by example. And it makes me feel better. I can think straighter. And
what do you do? How do you, like, when you say you do that, what types of, like, do you have anything you'd like to share as far as how you keep your mental health intact?
It's as simple as breathing. Mm-hmm. Those thoughts come because what it does, it takes away the immediate need to speak up. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And also the body does this, so it kind of relaxes and walking away from the situation. And it doesn't matter what situation you're in. Someone might have made a comment about your body weight. Mm-hmm. Walk away, take a deep breath, and come back to the conversation. Mm-hmm. And try and rationalize it so that you can put it away. Process it and put it away. And that's
respond, don't react.
Yes. Or respond by breathing and don't respond right away and really think for a moment. That has really helped when my son cusses at me and I just want to fight fire with fire. And then I take that breath and keep my voice calm. It actually affects him. And in using an example, if someone were to, and it happened to me in a different subject matter, you have this horrible person saying something nasty on social media. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take my time to go into a conversation and just ask some questions. I've learned to want to validate that person's feeling and then share my side. And sometimes that person feels so guilty for having judged on something that wasn't true. Now, that takes effort, and I've only done it a few times. Mm. And of course, everyone else says, don't give that person the light of day. But it made me feel better.
That's what's important.
Because I sat there and I took the time and I thought, oh, is that what you think? Okay, well, have you thought about it X, Y, and Z? And then that person came back, I did not, and apologized to me. So
most of the time they want you to respond, which is why they do this. You know?
Yes. And I've had it both, that they never responded. Yeah. So that was not worth a second one. But when they did respond and apologized, that person felt better. Mm. And I felt better because she apologized, and I felt better because she apologized. And I was opening a conversation. And many people saw that exchange, and those people will feel better. Like, hey, we're not just fighting fire with fire. We're actually communicating. And
I actually think that's dangerous to ignore people like that for the most part. I mean, I think there's some instances where it's probably best not to say anything. I also feel, though, that maybe for people like me, at least when I ignore and pretend, then I start to feel bad about myself. But if I stick up for myself by using my two thumbs and responding in a respectful manner, obviously, then I feel better. I think you're right.
It also, and quite honestly, and I've done a few videos on that I felt guilty for not posting for a week or two. And I see all of you guys all over 1 million followers. And here I am at my 80,000. Anyway, I'm going through my head. And then when I just do a video, I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm in my lane. And then doing these podcasts, it also gives you credibility and sincerity, transparency. When you do react, you actually go into conversation. I can't always, if you would have to sit down and react hundreds of times every single day, I can't be a dad, I can't be a business owner, I can't go to the gym because all I do is like that. And I'm sure you guys, you have what, 800,000 followers? Or,
I have no idea.
It's,
but I definitely, but I also love the block button for people who are really inappropriate. And that also empowers me too.
Yeah, well, and rightly so. If people have something to say, they can say it. We should be, if you're a public figure, you should be open to criticism. But you
shouldn't be going at people. Yes.
What kind? And I've had, and also you attract your own kind over time. And sometimes from another camp, they come in and follow you and make a nasty comment. Those are the ones you block and don't give any time of day.
Yeah. What are you working on now other than all of that stuff?
Well, podcasts.
Okay. When is it coming out?
We hope within 2 weeks.
And who are you doing it with? Are you doing it with anybody, or are you just doing it yourself?
I am doing it with someone, Colin Pierce, I don't even know, because everything is digital. I haven't even talked about.
That's exciting.
I think in Vegas. Yeah, I am excited because of situations like this, using a platform to turn negative into positive, to help people that could use the help, while you also realize, wait a minute, these people are public figures and they shit like everyone else. They go to a bathroom. They shit. Ultimately, quite honestly, I've never seen myself as a public figure. I have to remind myself.
You are, so.
But what I'm working on is with LeBlast, we are announcing our Kids Fit program.
Wait, can you tell my listeners what LeBlast is first?
So LeBlast is what I started because of Dancing with the Stars. It's ballroom dancing based, partner-free fitness, dance fitness, partner-free, and we do all components of physical fitness. We do weight training, we do plyometrics or non-plyometrics, we do high-low interval training, and we have 5 formats. We have land fitness, aqua fitness in the pool, which is so much fun. Actually doing paso doble quick step in the pool.
That's actually a great idea.
Oh, it's fun, and it's really doing well. We have chair fitness for people that have to sit
Stripping?
down.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh, I would love to, but no, that wouldn't work. It's sitting down and still doing. I'm sitting down right now, and we do jumps.
Yeah,
we do weight training. We're doing rumba and salsa, samba. We do it all sitting down. Line dancing, ballroom dancing,
samba rolls. Kidding.
Yes. Oh, I just introduced samba rolls at our convention in Florida. And then we're introducing Kids LeBlast Fitness next week. And we're going into schools. We're going, I'm now in 5 different countries.
Good for you.
And I am so proud, 13 years in. And
that's awesome.
It's about helping others. It's about helping me. I'm in the best shape of my life because I'm doing 3 classes a week on demand. So people can join on demand from their home.
Can they join if they don't have on demand? Do you have to have DirecTV? I'm so confused. Sorry, I'm technically challenged.
So on demand, they can go to our website, LeBlastFitness.com, and you get a free week, and you can do it from your TV at home. But then also we have, of course, hundreds of instructors that teach LeBlast at community centers, YMCAs, JCCs, working with big box gyms right now to get it in there. And and I'm teaching in one class a week. I've missed teaching my own classes. So at the Provo Rec Center here in Utah County, I'm teaching my own class every Monday night.
Is it ballroom, like with couples?
No, it's at a Provo Rec Center. It's LeBlast Fitness. Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't miss that altitude. That's why you're in the best shape of your life. I'll never forget nationals there. Oh,
yeah, well,
God.
I am teaching 5 minutes from where you did the national championship.
BYU?
Yes. BYU.
With the 2-inch straps.
Anyway, that's a bad joke. No. But just didn't hear that.
I interrupted you. There's no way.
Good. No, that was better. It was a bad joke. Anyway, so really, LeBlast it's my life right now. It's my kids and my third kid, LeBlast Fitness.
Are you having guests on your podcast?
I will, and one of them I'm going to ask is the one I'm talking to right now.
I would love to. That's basically was me inviting myself, FYI.
Oh, don't you worry, Cheryl Burke. You're high on my
You've already
list.
done 2 of my podcasts, so of course.
Great. I just want to get my what do you call my feet wet and get all the kinks out and all. Yeah. But yes, please. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I'll be there with kinks or no kinks. Okay.
We can talk about anything that helps others.
Of course.
I love your transparency always. So that's why I guess we're always never boring, right?
Definitely not. Thank you so much, Louie.
Awesome. I have to actually run right now to pick my kid from school because he has cello practice for his performance next week at the library in Cottonwood Heights.
I love that he plays the cello.
He wants to go to Juilliard. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Better get a scholarship. I'm kidding.
I mean, look, if that were to happen, the story, a kid, 10 years old, adopted out of the foster care system, makes it to Juilliard.
That's amazing.
Mean, I've already cried.
At least he had, that's a huge dream. That's beautiful.
It's so amazing. When we were on Tamron Hall early this year to promote adoption from the foster care system, that was filmed next to Lincoln Center.
Oh, so right.
I took him there. I said, look around. I might get emotional right now. I said, turn around. And he turned around and he saw Juilliard. And he turned around and his eyes were so big. I said, turn around, take a picture. So if I have a picture and I am going to help manifest it. You
got to put that picture on his phone, on his home screen. So he only sees it.
It's so on just a fun fact. We're going to New York City for Christmas. And on December 22nd, we're going to the New York Philharmonic Orchestra at Lincoln Center. Wow. Next to Juilliard.
Does he know?
He knows. Yes. Okay. Yes. And Yo-Yo Ma is his biggest. He's a huge fan of Yo-Yo Ma because he's probably the most famous cellist in the United States.
Wow.
So I'm going to go
awesome.
Take him to that. Really.
You're such a good dad.
Well, I have to be realistic. The coach inside of me says, oh my gosh, he has 3 more years to make that happen.
Don't be a cello mom.
No, I'm not. I am proud of myself. I am supporting him. I am raising questions. Hey, how many hours a week have you practiced this week? So that he can then make the choice. Oh, yeah, I should do more. Of course, is it easy for us, as parents and coaches to say, you will not make it to Juilliard if you don't do it.
You basically insinuated that when you're asking him how many hours of rehearsal he's had so far.
Yes, but give me some props. At least
for sure.
Kindly,
for sure.
Saying,
yes.
If you don't do that, then I'm going to take away your friend.
You mean like the way we were raised? No, I'm kidding.
Well, it was not as hard, but
no.
You and I have a similar
upbringing.
Moms, if you will.
Very strong.
That's why I like each other.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you again for having this conversation, Louie. I really appreciate you.
Me too. And I love you. And I will come visit you.
Yes, please. We'll FaceTime so I can show you around a little bit.
Thank you for having me. And
love you. Thank you.
I love you too.
Make sure you guys follow us at Sex, Lies, and Spray Tans on our Instagram handle, and make sure you comment. Let me know who you want me to interview. What do y'all think? Let me know.